Welcome back. We're talking today on Pakistan's foreign policy. Do we have a soft policy? And if we don't, then how we can formulate a foreign policy by which we can improve Pakistan internationally? We are talking on the drawbacks of foreign policy and a background of policy of Pakistan. But before we get back to our discussions, Hamid, we need to know, we would like to see what Azam has to say about the relations of Pakistan with India and America and Canada. What he tried to give us in his statements, let's have a look at, and then we will get back to our discussion.
So, the people of America are deeply interested in India. I send you my cordial greetings on behalf of the Muslim India, and I feel your good wishes. As you know, of the many races and religions that inhabit the vast India, 100 millions of Muslims categorized the minority. There are 70 millions in western and northeastern zones of India. We cut a majority of 70% against the caste Hindus in these homelands of ours. We want the division of India into Hindustan and Pakistan because that is the only practical solution which restore freedom for both Hindus and Muslims and the achievement of stable and enduring governments of Hindustan and Pakistan, which I am confident will settle down as friends and neighbors like Canada states and other sovereign states, both in North and South America.
As you can hear, Quaid-e-Azam telling us that 100 millions of Muslims be declared as a minority, and he stated very clearly about our relations with the other countries. So, Zahid Ahmed, before going to break, we did work out on the relations with India, and know that what is this love and hate relationship with India and Pakistan. But what is the problem of Pakistan and Israel? And as we saw that Pervez Musharraf, he did try to improve the relations between two countries, but still he didn't achieve what he wanted. So what is the problem between Israel and Pakistan?
You see, you just heard Quaid-e-Azam, Muhammad Ali Jinnah. He was one of the greatest Muslims of the 20th century. You heard his voice, it's the voice of a tiger. He was a fascinating leader who at one hand single-handedly dealt with the British Empire and with the dominant powers of Hindus and carved out a continent. The very simple reason that Pakistan and India are still in a state of war is because Hindus rejected this plan that you just heard, the division, and still Hindus want to reverse this division, that they want to annihilate Pakistan to back into the Indian fold, and of course Pakistanis can never accept it, and that is why you find us in a perpetual state of war with India. No matter what the diplomatic niceties are, the realities are, we remain in a state of war. Exactly the same problem with Israel as well. Even before the creation of Israel, after the First World War, when the Balfour Declaration was done, when the British Empire granted a mandate to Jews saying that we will create a state for you in Palestine, one of the strongest and the fiercest resistance that came to this idea was from Quaid-e-Azam Muhammad Ali Jinnah. Muhammad Ali Jinnah actually rose against the British. He spoke harshly against it, and the creation of Israel as a dagger into the hearts of the Muslims. Such words. And he even threatened the British Empire that if a state of Israel was created, Muslims rise and rebel against the British Empire. That's what he's saying of creation of Israel. When Pakistan did not even exist as a state, when he was fighting, when Muhammad Ali Jinnah, Quaid-e-Azam was himself fighting for his own homeland, he was fighting Muslim causes in Palestine. He was fighting to protect Muslim interest in the Middle East. He was trying to resist creation of Israel. Israelis knew about this. So when it was created after the creation of Pakistan, Israelis tried very hard that Pakistan should accept them, recognize Israel as a state. So the first Prime Minister of Pakistan, Liaquat Ali Khan, he was approached by Israelis at that time, in 1950. They offered, at that time Pakistan was a very poor country. We were trying to build our economy, build our army. We had a huge influx of refugees coming in, and we were in absolute dire, and we needed financial help. Israelis offered Pakistan that we will give you everything. We'll give you money, we'll give you resources, we'll give you weapons, just recognize Israel. And the Pakistani Prime Minister replied, gentlemen, our souls are not for sale. Honorable reply Pakistani Prime Minister Liaquat Ali Khan gave at that time. And ever since that time, Israelis knew that Quaid-e-Azam's Pakistan's founding fathers have been resisting the creation of Israel. Pakistani Prime Minister refused to accept Israel, recognize Israel, saying that our souls fail. ever since that time, Israel has formed strategic alliances with India, because both the ideological Hindu and Jewish states cannot see Pakistan thrive, develop nuclear power. Today, Pakistan is the only Islamic nuclear power as well.
Right,
and this is
right.
for Israel. In 1984, Israelis actually sent in planes after they had destroyed Osirak nuclear reactor. The Israelis were confident. They thought they can destroy Pakistan's Kahuta nuclear plant. And Indians and Israelis staged a joint strike, planned a joint strike on Kahuta nuclear plant. That Pakistan Air Force, they thwarted that, resisted that. So these is that ever since Pakistan has been created, the blood feud between Pakistan and India, blood feud between Israel
it's there.
is already there. And as we are saying, all these events are embedded even into the events that took place before the creation of Pakistan. Giving you another example, Turkey is Pakistan's closest brother. Actually, Kardesh, the Turkish.
Right.
And there's a Turkish narrative which says that Pakistan and Turkey are iki devlet. Yani we are two countries but one nation. And there's so much spiritual bonding between Pakistan and Turkey. And again, the events of why
There's an
Pakistan...
affectionate relationship between
Why
the
is
two.
that so? It is again built into the events that took place almost 100 years ago. After the First World War, the Ottoman Empire was in crisis, Turkish nation was in crisis, Turkey was not even created state, but Turkish people were in crisis, and Muslims of India, leadership of the poet philosopher Dr. Muhammad Iqbal, I mean he said, recited, Muslims of India, the whole continent cried for the Turkish Muslims. Women gave their bangles, men sold their houses and properties and collected funds and resources, and everything was sent to Turkey. The Turkish brothers at that time who were in a crisis during the First World War and after the First World War. Turks still respect that. Honorable nation as they are. The relationship between Pak and Turkey was actually built 100 years ago, even before the creation of Turkish and Pakistani nation today. So what we are saying to you is that Pakistan, the vision of our founding fathers, was of a pan-Islamic nation. Quaid-e-Azam Muhammad Ali Jinnah and Iqbal, the visionary thinker, philosopher, the ideologue of Pakistan, they both wanted to see an Islamic vision where Pakistan would play a central role. And we have played that such.
Now, before we move on to the other countries, Israel and India, we have established that at the time of Pakistan, at the time of coming into being of Pakistan, the hatred foundation was there for the countries towards India and Israel. So tell me, this is our foreign policy addressing both these countries in the right direction right now?
You see, the fact of the matter is Pakistan always wanted to coexist with India. Our founding, you've just heard, the Quaid-e-Azam wanted Pakistan and India to live like Canada and North America. But the fact of the matter is, neither the North Americans or the Canadians are trying to take over each other. Indians are trying to take over Pakistan. It's the Israelis who want to destroy Pakistan. The fact of the matter is that both these countries, Indian and Israelis, can never accept Pakistan as an independent Islamic nuclear power and leading the Muslim bloc, because Pakistan has already done it. In 1980s, in the time while we were destroying the Soviet Union, Muslim world was in a crisis as well. There was Iran going on. There was a problem within the Arab League as well. Egypt had been thrown out from the Arab League and the OIC. Pakistan's President General Ziaul Haq played a central role in bringing the Muslim world together, in stopping the war, in uniting the Arabs together, bringing Iran and Egypt back into the OIC. And at that time, the Muslim world needed a spokesperson, somebody to represent the Muslim world in the United Nations. The entire Muslim world requested Pakistani President General Ziaul Haq to represent the world in the United Nations. At that time, Pakistan had emerged as the de facto Muslim world. Because Pakistan as a culture, the culture of Pakistan has all ingredients. Our fabric consists of cultures from the Muslim civilizations from Arabia, from Persia, from the Indian subcontinent. So Pakistan is a fascinating bridge between the Muslim world. No problem with any Muslim country, even though the Muslim countries have problem with each other. For example, Iran have problem, Iran and Arabs have problem, Turks and Arabs have problems. But wherever there is a crisis in the Muslim world, it's Pakistan who comes in.
That hands out a hand to help them out. So how do we see America's relations with Pakistan? Since America's relations are very strongly embedded with as well, and at the same time with India as well. So now how do we stand in with America, and how do you see that?
You can see from the fact that in Pakistan, India has always been a hated country. And now, paradoxically, United States have surpassed. US is the most hated country in Pakistan today. And this tells you the kind of relationship that Pakistan has with the United States now. And this is again embedded into history also. Americans have always using Pakistan for their strategic objectives. And whenever Pakistan was in crisis, Americans have Pakistan. After the 1965 war, when Pakistan had fought the Indians, Americans put sanctions on Pakistan. Pakistan had no option again but to go to Chinese for equipment and weapons. After the Soviet withdrawal in Afghanistan, Americans again slapped sanctions on Pakistan. While Pakistan assisted the Western world in destroying Soviet Union, rewarding Pakistan, they slapped sanctions on Pakistan in 1990, again creating a crisis for us. And also know, while we sided with the Americans in this war on terror in Afghanistan, so-called, Americans have used that advantage. Americans have used Pakistan's non-NATO status to wage a war on Pakistan. Today, Pakistan is facing an existential war on the verge of collapse. Terrorism, insurgencies, drone strikes, American blackwater operators are operating all over Pakistan. They have decimated Pakistan. And this is the gift that the Americans have given Pakistan for being a non-NATO, for giving passage to the Americans to fight in Afghanistan. So, and we also know that once America and Afghanistan, they are going to slap sanctions again.
What's been said is that, you know, as America is using Pakistan US aid, as a response of the passage given to the Afghanistan.
True. You see, this is all fallacy. This is all fraud completely, because whatever the US aid or whatever quote fund they give us is peanuts compared to the losses and damages that Pakistan is receiving at the hands of it. They give us, for example, $10 billion worth of aid in the last 10 years, but they have done damages worth $100 billion to our infrastructure, to life and property, to the armed forces, to the aircraft that we have lost, to the attacks on our militaries.
Then why is Pakistan letting them do this?
See, every plane crash of General Zia, again, plane crash of General Zia were orchestrated by these Indians together. And this is also acknowledged by John Gunter Dean, the American in India at that time, who acknowledged this fact, that Pakistan's president was killed because Pakistan was rapidly developing nuclear weapons. And that is why Israelis decided to kill the man who was responsible for that. So, after General Zia's plane crash in 1988, it was just a single plane crash. It was also the plane crash of Pakistan's foreign policy. Ever since the last 25 years, our foreign policy is in chaos. We have
so what about General Pervez Musharraf? Did he address the foreign policy? Then came the People's Party regime, then PMLN regime.
It is Pervez Musharraf policy whose fallout that you are seeing in Pakistan today. Zardari government, I followed the foreign policy of Pervez Musharraf, did not bring about any change whatsoever, and now she is doing the same. What was the foreign policy of Musharraf, Zardari and Nawaz Sharif present? Was to allow limited access to the Americans into Afghanistan, give them free passage through Pakistan both ways, give them free air to bring about their supplies through our air, don't charge them any taxes, don't offer them any resistance. The Americans create insurgent and terrorist groups in Pakistan, let the Blackwater spread their tentacles and CIA spread their tentacles in Pakistan and create insurgent terrorist groups. As a result, bring about a collapse of Pakistan, which they are doing in Egypt and Libya. And this is what our foreign policy have allowed them to do. This is what, for the last particularly, Pakistan's foreign policy does not exist. We are only obeying what the Americans are telling us. And
so you're saying that our foreign policy has been dictated to us and we are acting on it?
There is now not even US, even IMF is now dictating our policy. The present government has come, they have almost bankrupt, they wanted loans from IMF, and IMF has given them to give them most favored nation status to India, while India is waging a war and this government is doing it. So it's not just Americans now, even the IMF is now controlling the foreign policy.
So it brings us to a point where we want to know that why is our leadership letting everyone bully us? We'll continue our discussion right from here. We are going to go take a short break. We'll be right back after a short break.